You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, I want to go to your kind of headline here, which says adjustments to Bill 96, ? And by the way, we heard Premier Legault say that when the National Assembly rose at the end of the week, and we heard Eric Girard say that in our interview with him as well, this idea of, if after, and I think he actually said, if after a year, we'll see how things are, we can always adjust. Your suggestion is be careful what you wish for as far as adjustments go. Why?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's very simple. It was the most astounding coincidence, except it was that both guys said the same thing at the same time. They're all singing from the same hymn book. Obviously, they're noticing, with all due respect to us, they're not too concerned with what we have to say. But they are noticing that the French media are kind of picking up on the whole stupidity, the pettiness, the vindictiveness of the Bill 96 provisions, which, quite frankly, aren't really the tough ones. But here we go. I think we're on the road to that. They want to see where the polls are going to go. They want to see where the public's attention is going to go. Right now we're just talking about these goofy messages on websites. Don't forget, now you want to do certain transactions, legal transactions. You have to have everything translated on your dime. This is absolutely preposterous. It's the object of a lawsuit by at least one group of legal professionals. But he's going to be playing in a kind of a piecemeal fashion. What are people noticing about 96? What can I get away with? What can I not get away with? But on the other hand, if all this disappears over the space of a few weeks, look out, it's going to be twice as bad. I guarantee it. They're going to turn around and say, oh, you didn't like the little messages you're putting on? Well, you don't get any messages anymore anyway, okay? And maybe we'll have to send you a special card that you'll have to scan in to get services in English. Trust me, I'm not exaggerating with this. Take a look at Bill 96. This is not some fantasy. It's completely illegal, but it's what this government does.
Wow. I'm hearing you say that, and, we were kind of joking about this when the message came out saying, is this what's next? Got to show an ID card, got to whatever else. And, of course, that brings back some terrible memories of other places that have done that. I kind of wondered, though, Jim, and I think you said this when we spoke about it last week, when you talk about adjustments, this is a law. This is, passed. It's
yeah, exactly.
Right? How do you adjust that without introducing a new law?
You can amend a law, but then you'll have to go through the process of amending it. In other words, you're going to have a debate in the National Assembly, and the PQ will be circling like sharks. The suddenly magnified importance of PQ will be turning around saying, look, it was French is in decline. This is why they get a little wobbly. Somebody criticizes them, they fold like a cheap suit. This is the trench they've dug for themselves. And I think that, first of all, the political strategy of the CAQ government of Francois Legault has been shown very clearly over the past 5 years. Do whatever you can get away with. If you can't get away with it, try and do it some other way. Okay, but you'll never see an admission that maybe we went over the top. You'll never see an admission that maybe we were wrong. This is what Quebec wants. Nobody saw these articles coming in '96, and when we did see them, it was too late. They were voted in by, and yes, that's democracy for you. It's one of the scarier parts of democracy, especially when you have a populist government in charge. But yeah, in order for Francois Legault to live up. And I'm not even going to bother involving Eric Girard in this because, as I said last week, I don't think he has anything to do with this whatsoever in terms of connection, in terms of overview, in terms of influence. I think if Francois Legault sees that it might become a little bit galling, a little bit distracting for him, he'll say, okay, well, maybe we'll change this or maybe we'll change that. But if it, as I suspect it will, if it peters out over time, because everyone's got a shorter attention span, they'll maintain the status quo. And if a smaller, very narrow group of people keep complaining about it, they may just turn around and say, we're just going to make it tougher.
Jim,
who's going to stop them?
You make it tougher.
Well, but I'm just thinking last week when we asked our listeners about this, we actually had a couple of people saying at this point they would prefer to just have a card so they can show it and be done with it and know that they will get access to the services they always
Can you imagine what reaction to that would be around the rest of the world? If the rest of the world actually cared to find out that if you lived here as an Anglophone in Quebec, in Canada, you'd have to show an ID card to get service in English.
Not to sound, but I don't really care how the rest of the world feels. I care about how we feel as citizens.
No, but imagine the reaction.
Do you know? I can tell you what the response will be from the government. You have to show me ID if you want to buy alcohol. You have to show me ID if you want to buy marijuana.
Yeah, to get on a plane.
This is a government service. We want to make sure you're eligible for it. And it's as simple as that. But I agree with you completely. Internationally, which is why I think to a certain extent they may back off taking that route, because this would be this would create a thought of a program, not just on Quebec. If they pull the stunt like that, people will be asking Justin Trudeau, which I think I would be gleeful at that possibility. But international reporters would be asking Justin Trudeau, what the hell is going on in your country? Because this seems very, very bizarre.
All right, let's move from provincial to federal. It's kind of laughable now. David Johnston steps down, and suddenly the Liberals are like, we never said that it was not a good idea to have a public inquiry. That's just not me sort of paraphrasing. This is Dominic LeBlanc. Listen to this.
Yep.
Minister, isn't the obvious situation here that a public inquiry needs to be called?
A public inquiry has never been off the table. All options remain on the table. The Prime Minister said so when he announced the appointment of Mr. Johnston. My job is to, in the very next few days, in short order, ask opposition leaders to take this matter seriously, not just...
Okay, sure it is. So, Jim, he's going to ask the opposition to take this seriously, which, of course, I'm sure they're in a big, big rush to do.
Well, listen, what's going to happen here, and for those of you who are just tuning in, folks, that have never heard my voice before, I'm not a fan of Justin Trudeau or his government. Basically, the opposition fell for it. More specifically, the Conservatives fell for it. Johnston is out, and he didn't need the grief, and after they did such a great job of tearing his reputation to shreds for purely partisan purposes. So now the shoe is on the other foot. You want to have a public inquiry? Knock yourselves out. Make sure you all agree on who is going to head it. Make sure you agree on what the scope is going to be. But I'll bet you folding money, guys, if they want a public inquiry, please don't think that the Liberals are going to sit on their hands and say, oh, yes, we are going to limit this specifically to apparent interference by the Chinese Communist government. They will turn around and say, all foreign interference is on the table if you want our cooperation with this. And when we say all foreign, we're talking about American, Russian, Iranian, and, believe it or not, North Korean. It all has to be on the table or none of it's going to be there. Because if they turn around and say, well, no, we just want the Chinese interference, then this clearly is nothing more than a rather clumsy political ploy, certainly on the part of the Conservatives. Even I noticed in the coverage this weekend, even Jagmeet Singh is getting kind of cold feet now. He's not really sure. Do I want to have a public inquiry? What's going on here? But by all means, bring it on. But as I pointed out in my letter today, I predict the opposition parties will cooperate with each other on this inquiry the way the iceberg cooperated with the Titanic.
And on that note, James Mennie, the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.
Got it, man.